You may have heard the term mini-stroke before, but do you truly understand how dangerous it can be? Pause for a moment and consider this. If a light bulb in your home starts flickering, you'd probably check it right away to prevent an electrical short, wouldn't you? Yet, when our body sends out its own kind of flickering signals, like unusual fatigue, a strange headache, or a brief moment of dizziness, many people simply ignore them. And that silent dismissal is putting hundreds of thousands of lives at serious risk. Every 40 seconds in the United States, someone suffers a heart attack or a stroke. What worries doctors the most is not just the frequency. It's the fact that more than half of those people never noticed a single warning sign, not because they were careless, but because the warnings were too subtle, too vague, and far too easy to dismiss as just a passing feeling or a sign of getting older. In fact, there is a condition called TIA, short for Transient Ischemic attack, often simply referred to as a mini-stroke. It may last only a few minutes. The person may slur their speech slightly, feel dizzy, lose balance, or experience weakness in an arm or a leg, but then, all the symptoms disappear. Everything seems to return to normal. There is no pain, no collapse, no convulsions. Nothing feels serious enough to see a doctor, and that is precisely the trap, because about 1 in 3 people who experience a TIA will suffer a full-blown stroke within just a few days or weeks. Not years, not someday, but very soon and often without any further warning. A TIA is an urgent alarm, like a fire alarm going off while the flames are still smoldering behind the wall. It is your body screaming, "Something is wrong. There's a blockage. Blood flow is being interrupted." More specifically, most TIAs are caused by a small blood clot that temporarily blocks a blood vessel leading to the brain, but then dissolves or the blood reroutes on its own. As a result, no permanent brain damage occurs, and what makes it so dangerous is exactly that temporary nature. It causes people to drop their guard. They think, maybe I'm just tired, maybe it's lack of sleep, I'm sure it's nothing. But what they don't realize is that this, "I'm sure it's nothing," could be the final warning before an irreversible tragedy. A medical report shows that more than 240,000 Americans experience TIAs each year. Most of them do not realize the significance of these warning signs. Not because they are uninformed, but because TIAs are incredibly easy to misinterpret, especially among those between the ages of 60 and 80, a time of life when every small change is often dismissed as just part of getting older. But please remember this. A TIA is not an aging disorder. It is not just fatigue that comes with age. It is a serious warning, a clear message from within your body. If you don't act, then in just a few days, you could find yourself unable to speak, unable to walk, or worse, unable to return to the loved ones who mean everything to you. Data shows that up to 80% of strokes are entirely preventable if people recognize and respond to the signs of a TIA early. That is not just a statistic. That is a source of hope, because it means you can prevent it. You can stay healthy. You can live with confidence, not fear. But it all begins with awareness. It begins with not brushing off an unusual headache, not ignoring a moment of slurred speech, not dismissing a few seconds of confusion or disorientation. Today, we want to share with you the 10 most important warning signs of a TIA, also known as a mini-stroke. Some of these signs are quite obvious, while others are extremely subtle and can easily be overlooked in daily life. Our goal is to help you recognize which symptoms require immediate action, which ones should never be taken lightly, and, most importantly, to give you the tools to protect yourself and your loved ones from one of the most frightening medical emergencies of our time. But first, remember these 2 key points. Not symptoms, but the main reasons why TIAs are considered silent killers. They are short and mild. These 2 characteristics make them easy to ignore, but don't let their briefness deceive you. A lightning bolt flashes for just a moment, but its damage can last a lifetime. A mini-stroke is no different. First, symptoms appear, suddenly then disappear, a deceptive danger. This is perhaps the most deceptive and dangerous characteristic of a TIA. The symptoms typically appear very suddenly. One moment you feel fine, the next, something is wrong. But then, just as suddenly, they can vanish. Within minutes, or perhaps an hour or two, you might feel completely back to normal. This is where the peril lies. It's human nature to feel relieved when a strange symptom goes away. You might think, "Oh, that was odd, but I'm fine now." That temporary resolution doesn't mean the underlying danger has passed. It's screaming at you. That brief episode was your brain's cry for help. The single most important message here is, never ignore symptoms simply because they are resolved. That fleeting moment is your window of opportunity to act before a potentially irreversible major stroke occurs. Second, symptoms easily mistaken for other common issues, like aging, stress, or fatigue. Many TIA symptoms can mimic or be easily confused with other common ailments or sensations that are sometimes, unfortunately, dismissed as just part of getting older. For instance, a sudden bout of dizziness might be chalked up to a bit of dehydration, slight confusion, or momentary forgetfulness. Oh, it's just a senior moment. The key differentiator, often, is the sudden and uncharacteristic onset of the symptom compared to your normal state of health. If something feels distinctly off and new, don't automatically write it off. It warrants a conversation with your doctor, or, if severe and sudden, an immediate call to 911. Now, let's move into the specific symptoms themselves. Remember, any of these, especially if third. Sudden difficulty speaking or slurred speech, aphasia, dysarthria. This is a classic stroke and TIA warning. The language centers in your brain require a constant supply of oxygenated blood. If that supply is briefly cut off during a TIA, your ability to communicate can be instantly impaired. You might experience aphasia, which can mean difficulty finding the right words or understanding speech. Another form is dysarthria, where speech muscles become weak, causing slurred or mumbled speech. The key is the suddenness. Fourth, sudden confusion or trouble. Understanding speech. This goes beyond just speech production. It's about your brain's ability to process information. You might suddenly feel disoriented, unable to follow simple instructions or find conversations baffling. This type of acute confusion, sometimes called delirium, occurs when blood flow to the brain's frontal and temporal lobes, crucial for executive function, is compromised. A TIA-related confusion is an abrupt, alarming shift from your normal mental state. Fifth, sudden weakness or numbness, typically on one side. This is a hallmark of stroke and TIA. Sudden weakness or numbness, almost always affecting one side of the body, your face, an arm, or a leg. If blood flow to one side of the brain's motor cortex is interrupted, the opposite side of your body will be affected. You might notice one side of your face drooping or one arm drifting downwards. This unilateral nature is a very strong indicator. Sixth, sudden dizziness, severe loss of balance, or lack of coordination. This isn't just feeling a bit unsteady, it's an abrupt and often intense sensation. You might experience vertigo, where it feels like you or the room is spinning, or suddenly lose your balance and stumble. Gait ataxia. Your cerebellum and brainstem are critical for balance. If a TIA disrupts blood flow here, your equilibrium can be thrown into chaos, increasing fall risk, especially in older adults. Seventh, sudden, temporary vision changes. This can manifest as suddenly blurred vision or diplopia, double vision. A particularly alarming symptom is amaurosis fugax, a temporary loss of vision in one eye, often like a dark curtain falling. Others might experience partial vision loss in both eyes, homonymous hemianopia, or see bright flashing lights, scintillating scotoma. These occur because the occipital lobe, your brain's visual processing center, isn't receiving adequate blood flow. 8th, severe, sudden headache, often worst headache of my life. This is a type of headache you should never ignore. A severe and intensely painful headache that comes on suddenly, like a clap of thunder, reaching maximum intensity within seconds. This vascular stress can trigger what doctors call a sentinel headache, warning of potential underlying danger. 9th, sudden, tingling sensations or paresthesia, often one-sided. The medical term for this pins and needles sensation is paresthesia. It arises from a temporary lack of blood flow to the somatosensory cortex in your brain. Like other TIA symptoms, it's typically unilateral, affecting one side of your body, face, arm, or leg. You might feel it start in your fingertips and travel up your arm. 10th, does one side of the face droop? A is for arm weakness. Ask the person to raise both arms. Does one arm drift downward? S is for speech difficulty. Ask the person to repeat a simple sentence. Is their speech slurred or strange? T is for time to call 911. If you observe any of these signs, call 911 immediately. Every second counts. Brain cells die rapidly during a stroke, so the faster a person receives medical attention, the better their chances of recovery. Time is the brain. Do not wait. Do not try to drive. Call emergency services. While we've focused on signs, briefly, common risk factors for TIA and stroke, especially in the 60-80 age group, include high blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, high cholesterol, atrial fibrillation, a previous TIA or stroke, and a family history. Managing these is key to prevention. Recognizing a TIA is the first, most crucial step in preventing a major stroke. These 10 signs are your body's critical alarm. Listen to it. For those of us in our 60s, 70s, and 80s, being proactive and vigilant is about empowerment and giving ourselves the best chance for a long, healthy, independent life. Please share this video with your friends and your family, especially those who are in this age group or care for someone who is. This knowledge truly has the power to save lives. If this information has been valuable to you, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We'd also genuinely love to hear your thoughts, questions, or perhaps your own experiences in the comments section below. Thank you for investing your time with us today. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, take proactive care of yourselves and those you love. We'll see you in the next video.